Yeah, that one was a tough one. I was never scared of a risk. I've only been shown that in my life. Like, take the risk, put your mind to it, and it can work. I did it pretty quickly. I did it within a month. I put everything together. I spent all the money. I opened up the LLC. I did everything within a month.
Welcome back to another episode of Intrepidus Podcast with your hosts, Dan and Anthony, episode number 55. Today we have 𝐬𝐝 here on the show with a couple different businesses. So one is a mobile golf simulator that you've been operating for about a year.
Yes, correct.
And then an epoxy business that you just begun.
Yeah, I just started, actually.
So let's start with the mobile golf simulator, because that's interesting. I've never heard of one, and I love golf.
Yeah, so that was what it was for me. It was a big hobby thing. I love playing golf. Me and my friends, when we grew up playing sports, we would, now that we're a little older, we started playing golf together. So it was just like, okay, let's, go play golf. So me, I just, I sat with the idea, and somebody gave me the idea that I should, start a golf simulator business. And I thought about it. I was like, oh, no, it costs a lot of money to start a brick and mortar golf simulator place. Like, you see a lot of these brick and mortar places where they have like multiple setups, and they're TrackMans and all these things, they cost tens of thousands of dollars. So I did some research, but I ended up finding out that I can actually put something together that's mobile, and you can do it for a minimum cost of $10,000 or more. You know what I mean? You can go as far as you want your pockets to stretch. So I winded up putting together the best possible one that I could for around $30,000, and the setup is amazing. Like, the response time, the clarity. I got 4K. It's like everything, I pieced it together individually, and it actually worked out pretty well. When I had this idea come to me, I started putting things together, and I realized, like, this could be a big thing as far as mobile. Like, there's not too many people out there that have a mobile golf simulator that you can basically go set up anywhere. With the right pieces, biggest thing is obviously internet. You got to be able to plug in an internet somewhere, so you can run your softwares and run your computer and stuff like that. So I winded up putting, I went to T-Mobile. I got an internet device, and it's like an at-home device. I got a little generator. I put everything together on the generator, and everything ran perfectly. So it was just like, this is something that can actually be brought right to somebody in their backyard, in a park, on the beach. Like, you could go anywhere with it, basically.
Let's look at the mechanics of it all. Do you pull up in a truck and like people hop in the truck and hit golf balls, or you set it up in their house? How exactly does this look?
So this one, I have two setups. It's an indoor one and an outdoor one. The outdoor one is an inflatable. It's 12 feet wide, 16 feet long, 10 feet high. So I try to use the outdoor one if it has the height requirements and an indoor area. Like, there's some bars upstate that I'll bring it to, and it will, if it meets the requirements, I'll bring that one just because it's safer. You know what I mean? It has a full setup where you can have the side walls, and you don't have to worry about the ball flying which way and people getting hit in the head, and you know what I mean? So like, the outdoor setup is really cool. When it comes down to like all the mechanics and the pieces that, go with it, it's an easier setup than the indoor one, because it's, you're blocking out a lot of the natural light, so you'll get a clearer picture, if that makes sense.
Right.
When you are indoors, you want to have, if you have the indoor setup, it doesn't really have the sidewalls. It has more of a net system. And any natural daylight will kind of dim your projector screen. So, but yeah, like the setup is pretty cool. I get a lot of good responses on it. Like, a lot of people are interested in it. I've had people come up to me and be like, wow, this is an amazing idea. Like, why don't, how many do you have? Can we want to do a party with, like, our company, but, we want to have 4 of them. So I'm not there yet, but I have one.
Okay, so who's your typical clientele? Is it more so, because you said bars, you set
so
up a
yeah,
couple
so
bars.
I've tried to generate as many ideas as I could. So with the bars, I try to do like either a golf night, like I did one recently in Yonkers. It was a brewery that wanted to do a Happy Gilmore night for the new movie.
Nice.
So I did one of those. The other idea that I'm starting to get into is I'm creating my own golf league. So where you go and set up at a bar and you can have, 12 people do, you could have 3 groups of 4 and have 12 people play over the course of 3-4 hours and finish X amount of holes. And after X amount of holes, you come back the next week, and it's like you kind of create that league. And over the course of six weeks, you could finish 18 holes. And then you kind of create like a bracket system. You could do eventually when somebody wins in one bar, you can go against another bar winners. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to generate, as far as in the off season when people aren't playing golf, you know what I mean, outside. Like that's an idea that I'm getting into right now.
So what about, if Dan just wants one in his house for a few hours?
Yeah,
Is that
so
something
like
that's possible?
so yeah, we do like our base package is the minimum of 3 hours. So we set up, it's $500 for the first 3 hours, and then every additional hour is only $100. So I mean, as far as like somebody just has to be there just to make sure that the computer is just going, acting normal, and the radar is picking up the launch monitor. So like, people want it in their backyards for a barbecue. People want it for a parent has a children's party but wants something for the adults to do. You know what I mean?
Smart.
Like,
Yeah, it's great.
like
that,
there's endless kind of ideas when it comes to it. Like I've reached out to a lot of party planners. So they do like, people that, do weddings, or, I've even, when I go to the golf courses and I go play golf, I'll even talk to the people that run the golf course, just because it's just another venue spot. You know what I mean? Most golf courses are something that, you can have a wedding at, have some sort of big party at, you know what I mean? So it's like an idea that kind of keeps on going.
Do you stay in New York or travel to Jersey too?
Everywhere. So right now it's like I'm not really saying no to too many places. Like I'll go to Jersey, I'll go to Connecticut. I currently have it upstate New York. And
Where upstate?
Catskill area.
Oh, okay, it's up there.
Yeah,
Nice area though.
Yeah, it's pretty far up. But so what happened is that in Queens, it was more of the space was the issue. You reach out to a bar, they don't really have the height requirements. They don't really have the space.
Everywhere.
Like everywhere it's all concrete. You know what I mean? So it's just like you're building after building after building. There's no outdoor space to really have this thing set up, unless you're going to Long Island, unless you're going to Yonkers or Westchester, or somewhere where there's a backyard or something like that. So I actually winded up pulling in one of my closest friends that I grew up with in high school. He's a big golfer. I mean, his whole social media is all about golf. So I wound up just taking him in on it. I said, here, help me do this. And, with what I'm looking for back out of this, then, after that happens, then everything is 50-50.
What's the future hold for buying another one?
So the future is looking good to buying another one. That is my goal. I don't want to stop where I'm at. I want to, obviously, like with a lot of these networking events that I do. So I do like, I'll do like charity events. I'll do like at golf outings. I get a lot of people that come in, entrepreneurs, people that own businesses, and they say, hey, I got a company and I'd love to have this here. But, they have 50 to 100 or maybe more people in the company. And it's just like, how is one simulator going to be able to,
Not enough.
be able to, accommodate all these people? And you really can't accommodate that many people in that amount of time. You know what I mean? So it's just like something that I'm looking into eventually. Like, yes, I will be buying more to be able to supply more of that demand.
Now talk to us about your other business, your epoxy business.
So the epoxy business is something that I've been wanting to do for a couple years now. Before, I had other things going on, I've had this idea And it was something that I realized that, you know what, like, I might as well bet on myself and go for it because I've been in the construction world for a while. You know, I started off as a laborer in the union, then I got into the crane operators union. And, you know, from there, it's like I started my entrepreneurial, like, journey. But,
Wow. So you went from the crane. I didn't know you were in the crane operators.
yeah, I was in local 14.
That's a very cushy job.
Yeah.
Getting paid an
So
unrealistic wage sometimes.
yeah, so it's an amazing job. You know, with the way life had went for me at that time, while I was in it, I kind of stepped away from it because of a certain situation in life that, you know, you just needed to let go of everything that included it. So I wound up letting it go, and I focused on, you know, what I thought I was really on this earth meant to do, is not really work for somebody or a 9 to 5. I've always wanted to have my own business. I've always wanted to do my own thing. And I started that journey, and it went well, it went bad, and now it's like in the new building stages of getting back up there again.
So what do you mean it went bad? What happened?
So I got involved in a liquidation business. That was just something that was just under-researched. It was, you know, not really betting on myself as much as, you know, getting to know the business. You know, like, I kind of went with other people's word in it. Other people, you know.
Prematurely.
Yeah, it was something that, like, other people's hands were in the pot. So I, at the time, felt comfortable that, like, okay, this is going to work. You know what I mean? Like, everybody seems to be on board with this. And it just winded up turning into a situation where they weren't as available, and it was kind of left up to me to figure out a lot of things. And it just, like, things just weren't able to get figured out in the capacity and that it needed to be at, because It was just like, space is a huge issue. You need to be able to order a tractor trailer full of stuff and have a place for it to go. You know what I mean? And then if you're talking about a store in Queens, I mean, we were on Steinway Street, great area, but, you know, overhead is a lot and space is an issue. You know what I mean? You don't have that much space. We had a 1,600 square foot store, but it was like a railroad, you know, like a railroad apartment. So it wasn't maximized for the space of the inventory.
So what happened to that business?
So that one lasted only about 6 to 7 months. It winded up, you know, every week you got to change your inventory. So when you're changing your inventory every week, you're getting all the good items, but then you're left with all the other items that didn't sell. And after 6, 7 months of that, you could only imagine how much stacked up on top of it. You know what I mean? To where you didn't have space to bring in new stuff. So it was like, I was going online, I'm going Facebook Marketplace, I'm trying to sell things in bulk, I'm trying to do whatever I can to sell these items, and it's knick-knacky stuff. You know, it's like stuff from Amazon that you're, you know, tablecloths, and I can't even tell you how many thousands of different items it was actually, like, in one space.
How much did you lose?
Like 70,000.
70,000.
Okay.
So
altogether. And then in overhead of, obviously, like, the rent was $10,000 a month.
Fuck.
Damn.
So that
Hopefully
was
you didn't sign a
months.
10-year lease.
no. Well, thankfully we were in a situation where there was no lease signed, so it was like month to month.
Ah,
So, like, we
lucky
were in
there.
it was a lucky situation.
Yeah, because you could have been in even worse trouble
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
could have
But
been bad situation.
you know, they say failure is the best teacher, right? So what are the lessons that you pulled out of that failure?
Bet on yourself. You know, like, really bet on yourself. Don't always put the most trust into other people that you feel in your heart. You know what I mean? Like, you might feel it, but at the end of the day, like, nobody's going to be you in a situation. So, like, do the most to just bet on yourself. If you got an idea that you want to take on, you know, take that risk, but do it on your own. You know what I mean?
You think a little bit of planning might have changed the outcome?
Yeah, but I think it could have done that, but that 70,000 that was spent would have had been spent in a lot of other places. You know what I mean? To be set up, like really set up the right way. And it just, more money was going to go into the pot. It was just like, and then on top of it, you got this monthly overhead of $10,000 a month in a store. It's just like, okay, we need to get the ball rolling here. So yeah, when I ordered the first truck and I seen how massive it was, and I only had about I had a little warehouse in Brooklyn that, it was perfectly set up for, stuff. It had a loading dock, it had a freight elevator. It was great, you know what I mean? But not for a 52-foot tractor trailer, you know what I mean?
Which is essentially junk.
That was just shit.
And it was 28 pallets of, just like,
you have to
junk.
sift through it. You don't know the inventory that's coming.
You don't know.
They just load it. You get it for pennies on the dollar, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like I got 28 pallets. I got 13,000, or no, yeah, like 12,800 items or no, how much was it? It was a lot of items. I want to say actually it was like the retail cost was like over 100,000, and I paid about 12,100 for 28 pallets, and each pallet had like 400 to 600 items.
Wow.
So you have to unload these trucks.
To unload them.
So unbeknownst to you that
Create
this
an
giant
inventory.
truck is coming.
Yeah.
So you have to unload the trucks,
And I'm only
separate, categorize
I'm
inventory.
one person too. It's just like
It was just you.
Me and one helper that I had to find. You know what I mean? Unload these trucks, put everything in this space. Whatever didn't fit had to go in a U-Haul, had to go to the store, and everything's. There's no organization when it comes to that business. You can't sit there and go through the store and organize. These are the hats. These are the shirts. You know what I mean? Like, there's no organizing.
This is why people sell these pallets online. You come buy this whole pallet for X amount of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. So like that was the other, I even just started trying to sell the pallets.
But where's this shit come from?
It's Target, Macy's, Amazon, Home Depot. I mean,
What is it, like shit that's sent back or not sold?
yeah, like anything that is pretty much like returned. It could be damaged. It could not be. Like I've pulled things out of there, like your Keurig that you have here. Like, it's something that like I got for pennies on the dollar. Some might have a missing piece to it. Some might not even turn on when you plug it in, but other ones, are brand new in the box. You know what I mean?
No shit.
So yeah, like, I've gotten a lot of good stuff from Macy's, like, Shark vacuums, Dyson vacuums, all this and that. And it would be something that you try to wage it out. You know what I mean? If you can get a little bit more money than $10, like, it would probably a Dyson vacuum would try to sell it for like $50.
Yeah.
But it's something that actually it worked. It was brand new in the box.
You probably have to ship shit everywhere, right?
No, we tried to just, I did Facebook Marketplace. That was actually a big one that people went.
E-commerce is the
Yeah,
only
like
way actually to
Facebook
sustain.
Marketplace. I did a lot of like
Can you
local
imagine his
pickup.
marketplace with like 12,000 items?
Yeah,
Nah, well,
that's
if
the
was
thing.
doing
Like
what
when
he
you
was
got
doing,
when you
he
got
would
so
just
many
separate
items,
it.
it's hard to sit there. Like I had a active, Facebook Marketplace that had over 200 items on it, and that didn't even touch a surface. You know what I mean? I tried to just put all the best things on there. You know what I mean? And getting like I had like 150 juicers from Macy's. I had like the NutriBullets. I had all the different wattages, 600 to 1200. It's just like I had them all. You know what I mean? And it's just like the kitchen appliances were great. You know what I mean? Anything for like the home, like vacuums, kitchen appliances, all that stuff like sold pretty good. When it just, when that stuff went away, you were left over with all the things that just didn't sell, like, party packs, like Party City. Like it was like Party City went out of business and I got stuck with everything.
Wonder why they went out of business. I mean, if you can go through that kind of adversity and a challenge and that, literally setback and just keep going and then open up 2 more businesses, I mean, that's powerful. Most people would not be able to survive after that situation and, would literally cry themselves to sleep over $70,000 every night.
Yeah, that one was a tough one. As far as like I always felt that I was never scared of a risk. You know what I mean? Like I've only been shown that in my life. Like take the risk, put your mind to it, and it can work. Like obviously that situation it didn't work, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like other situations where I feel that I was more comfortable in, as far as like starting the golf simulator business. It was a huge hobby of mine. It was something that I enjoyed doing. It was something that it wasn't really work for me to try to put pieces together and figure this out. You know what I mean? Like I did it pretty quickly. I did it within a month. Huh. I put everything together. I spent all the money. I opened up the LLC. I did everything within a month. And then as soon as that month was over, I right away started, who can I reach out to? What can I do? The charity events that I've done have been huge for me. Meeting a bunch of these people, as far as like party planners and all entrepreneurs that would come to these events, you kind of start networking with them, and then you kind of get an idea of like, you got a good idea. So it's like, okay, you get more excited about it when you start hearing good feedback. So, like the parties, and like you said, if you wanted to have it in your backyard for a barbecue, it's all capable of any of that. So, and then with the space issue was, when I had it in Queens, I figured like, okay, where can I put this that it's going to be, the price is not the problem. It's more so the space that you need to have to be able to set this up. And I'm only one person, and I didn't have anybody else to help me do this. So whenever this is like going on, I pulled my buddy in on this, and he's the one that kind of holds on to it. He has the truck, and whenever there's something going on, I'm there. So we do, a lot of different events. Like we did something for the city of Albany, where the city of Albany actually paid me. It's not like, it was like not a private thing. It was like a public thing.
Awesome.
So like, I got on their radar. So any event that they're going to do and throw in like their state park or something, like I can be a part of as a vendor. And, it's
how long is a game? Like a stimulation? How long is a game?
It all depends. I mean, as far as like, you could finish 18 holes. Like the three of us could finish 18 holes if we're playing at a good pace in 3-4 hours. So it's like it's still a simulation.
Is there single game, like single drive?
Yeah, so there's mini games. Like you could do, like when I go to the bars, I do a longest drive competition, and I do a closest to the pin competition. So the software that I use will have a challenge already in it. So and it's an online thing. So you can actually play against everybody that's running that software. All their records are being, all their distances and this and that is being recorded. So you see a leaderboard and a bracket of like who got the hole in one, who's like a foot from the hole, you know what I mean? So like you kind of compete against everybody else online too.
I was just thinking like going to an NFL game and like going early in the morning, tailgating for like a 7 o'clock game. Bro, just fucking drop that shit, $25.
Yeah.
Longest shot range, and like, winner gets whatever.
It's not actually. That's an idea. Yeah. That's a
like
really
a hole in one
idea.
challenge.
Yeah,
like,
you could just
get
go set it up at a
pot.
tailgate.
Anywhere, baseball games, any kind of game, college games, like because people tailgate for hours, bro.
No, I know. They come out and they still tailgate after the game.
Think about it. You did $25. You know what I mean? You'd get probably like 50 people. You know what I mean? You're making some pretty good money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you did like a hole in one challenge where winner takes all, but obviously
I wouldn't say that. Like, winner takes $100 or something, you're still gonna make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was like my idea with
it's
the.
impossible to get a hole in one. So that's the thing.
No, but
some people have come close, man. I've seen on my simulators,
distance too,
like
right?
3 feet.
Distance too, right?
Yeah, distance. So each hole, so the closest to the pins, they'll have like maybe 3 of them up there, and they change every couple weeks. So they'll pick a new, because I have over 300 courses. So you can basically look up, if you want to look up Bethpage and play Bethpage Black, you can do that. You know what I mean? Like you can look up, courses that you might never even go to, and just play it on the simulator. And it's pretty much exactly as it looks in real life, because I played Bethpage black in real life, and I played it on the simulator, and it's exactly the same. You know what I mean?
I
$5
would
a shot would be amazing.
I would test it at a game. Like right now, you're in preseason, so you got preseason games going on right now. Go to a Jets game, a Giants game, a Buffalo game. I think Buffalo you'll do the best because they have the best fucking tailgating in the world. Honestly, the more people at Buffalo tailgating than anywhere else in the world, guaranteed.
Never been.
It's sick. But if you go to a game and you just test it out, like say, you know what, I may not win or make any money this time, but let me just try this out and just say, like, you know what, $150 prize, whatever. You're still going to walk away with some money, but at least you could gauge it for the next one and kind of see, like, all right, my high, I'll make this, my low, I'll make this. Here's the offer.
Well, see, that's the best thing about the golf simulator is that you can take any sort of risk with it because your overhead, there is no really overhead for it. Like I'm spending $750 annually for the software.
Yeah.
And then my monthly cost is.
I'm just talking about your time.
Yeah, exactly. The time is like you can really put any sort of time into going anywhere because you don't have to worry about, paying for something with overhead. You know what I mean?
Here's going to be your overhead. Any sports game you go to, you buy full hat, shirt, everything of that team, so people think that you're part of that team, even if you like them or not. And you're there, and you get like whatever Velcro like banners for all these teams. You spend that little bit of money, like Jets golf simulator, Giants golf, whatever it is. You just keep changing it. People will soon notice, but who gives a shit? But at least you'll start making money that way because people are drunk. They're going to spend money. Oh, I can hit better than you. You know what I mean? And as the night goes on.
I wonder if they'll even allow that.
Why do they allow like tons of shit?
I have the liability insurance, so it's like
I just wonder if you could just set up shop and
you could bring a big ass fucking RV in there. Why can't you bring that shit in there?
Yeah, people go grilling and
people put up tents. People put up everything.
I don't know. It's worth a try.
I never thought of that idea, but it's actually a good idea.
I'll come to the Giants
you don't even
Stadium
need
one.
you don't even need tickets to the game. You literally just pay for parking.
Yep, and you go sit there and just hang out.
And if you're there early, you go into the biggest lot.
Yeah.
You talk to fans in that area. What's the best lot to go into? Where do all the big RVs go? And then you go there and you do it, dude. I'm telling you, try it now, especially in the preseason.
I will do that. I will. That's actually a really cool. It's fun too. It's like you get enjoyment out of it at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Imagine the content for social media.
Yeah.
People just being stupid, people shouting you out, people are gonna follow you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's actually
people are gonna hate on you. That's free PR, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this will help you build. So let's talk a little bit more about the epoxy. Why the epoxy? What have you seen in the industry, and why do you feel like you want to be a part of it?
So as far as the epoxy, it's something that I've always had interest in. It's something that I like the turnaround time in it, and I also like the artistic side to it. So the artistic side of using metallics and creating different colored pigments and going with, different types of looks, whether you want to do a marble or you want to do like a crazy swirl look. And, there's just a lot of different endless options. You could also do countertops. You can do, any full basements.
I got something for you to epoxy. I have this big piece of tree slab. It's cut like 1.5 inches, has a big hole in it. You ever see them do that?
Yeah. Where they create the tables out of it.
I'll give you this slab, bro. Make me something.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. You know what I mean? You can custom, and that's what I love about it is that it's customizable to what you want to do with it. You can create your own colorway. You can do you can put things in it if you want to put like your book in it, and then put clear epoxy over it, and it can be embedded inside of the table. It's like it's endless options. So like the artistic side to it is something that I've been really drawn to, as far as like creating a countertop that has a custom marble look to it, and it's like what the person wants in the house. You know what I mean? If they want these colors, blue, gold and black or something like that, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? So, and then I've also seen, as far as contractors are now, they're fully epoxying bathrooms. They're prefabricating custom shower walls and ceilings, and people are actually going out and buying them instead of going and buying a slab of tile. Or,
I see people epoxying their kitchen floors and their whole first floor.
Yeah, like it's pretty,
That's
like
wild.
there's different types of epoxies that you can use it over, plywood, or, it doesn't have to be on concrete. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a market that's like kind of expanding.
But I think about the actual longevity of that, because subfloor is a subfloor for a reason. It's supposed to take the impact. It's supposed to absorb. You're supposed to have something between the finished product and the actual joist. That's why the subfloor is there. So now you're epoxying the subfloor. You got a whole bunch of seams. You got movement. Like, that's got to crack over time.
I was wondering that too.
So they
I've
have
seen a bunch of
they have a
epoxy
flex
floors are
they have a
super
flex
popular right now.
epoxy. And it has they have epoxy that has some flex to it. And I mean, when you're sealing these, you're sealing the joints in between the plywoods, right?
Well,
So
the joints are, if you have a subfloor, it's tongue and groove, so it's
Yeah.
already glued and sealed.
right.
But I just worry about the expansion of it, like, because it's made to flex with the joist. So like you're walking on your floors and it's doing this, very, very minimum. I mean, you're talking about like a 64th as you walk, but I just worry about that's why, like, a lot of times you'll see with tile or something, if they don't do the proper base on it, that tile's going to crack because of stress, because of the load.
So yeah, it just comes down to using the right product for the job. You know what I mean? Like, they do have the flex epoxies that will give it a little bit of bend, and if you have a harder surface, there's other epoxies that you can use. That, I mean, epoxy will last you 10 plus years. Done the right way. If it's done the right way, you don't have to worry about it. And it's something some people might do it outside, on a patio around the pool. Like, I got one job that's going to be coming up, a garage, and then they want to do around their pool.
Slippery?
So you can put grit in it.
Sand?
Yeah, you can put some grit into it so it becomes slip resistant.
Like stamped concrete when they put the sand in it.
So you could put like sand in it. Sometimes they have different sizes to the sand, so then that way it could be different.
Yeah, it's just scary, bro.
It's cool though. It's like it's something that it's the artistic side to it is something that when you I like starting something. Like, my family's always been in construction, so when you see something go from an empty canvas to then something that you created, and it's like you're doing it in a turnaround of 3 days. You know what I mean? So like I could do a garage in 1 day.
So I've seen, like, on floors, people do like logos. Like, they'll have like a Chevy logo.
Yep.
They'll have like Harley Davidson logo. Like, how do you do all that, and then epoxy around it with your swirl and stuff?
So
Tape it
there's
off?
two different. Yeah. So there's two different types. So you can do the metallic, or you could do the paint chip. The paint chip takes a little bit more preparation, because you're not going to put, me personally, I wouldn't put a logo on top of the paint chip, because it's going to look rigidy and stuff like that. So
So the logo goes on top after it's done.
Yeah,
It's
so-
like painted on.
no, it's a vinyl. So it's like a
And then
vinyl
it's clear
stick.
coated over it.
Yep. And
got
You're
you'll-
thinking the same thing. I'm
I
thinking
thought
like this actual
I
emblem.
thought they
in
like
there.
they painted it or some shit. and
No,
then-
so they actually, you get a vinyl printout of like a sticker basically, and you get the top side laminated. So then that way it has a slick surface already. So that way it doesn't pick up when you're putting the
Yeah, it
seal coat
won't-
on
it
top. You don't
won't
want it to,
spread, yeah.
you don't want it to rip up or anything or look crappy. So, but yeah, you usually what you do is you put your base coat down. After the base coat is done, you can, before you put your sealer coat on, you can put the vinyl sticker on. And then once it's sealed, it's embedded. You know what I mean? So like you don't have to worry about anything like that.
Got it.
So what's the most popular request for epoxy? Like where?
The
in the
paint,
house?
the garage.
Garage.
And basements are the two top ones that I've gotten. Garages, as far as everybody likes a flake epoxy, so they'll get the paint chip look, and that's honestly, as far as like turnaround time, you could do probably about 3 of them a day.
Really?
Like and
I thought it was like a 3-day process, like grind it all down.
That's the metallics. So the metallics, yes, you can. It will take you a little longer, but when you're using certain products, as far as like they have one, it's called a polyaspartic. So that's your seal coat, and it hardens within an hour. So you can walk on it after 6 hours, and then 24 hours it's fully cured.
What's the durability like cars and stuff driving on it? It's fine.
Yep, as far as the 24-hour mark. So you hit that 24-hour mark with the polyaspartic, you're good to go. Like you
And it's 10 years.
Yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed a 10 years to 30, anywhere
30.
up to 30.
Wow.
Well,
As long as
depending
it's,
on the color, right?
no,
'cause-
so the polyaspartic is UV resistant, so it'll never change color over time.
Darker colors better than lighter colors.
Darker colors are easier to work with when you're
And-
mixing
and-
blacks and
and-
whites. You
and
don't
to
want it
clean,
to
right?
look, huh?
Easier to clean, right? The darker
Yeah.
colors.
So no, anything is. So when you put your seal coat on, it's just a mop of the floor.
Got it.
So and it's chemical resistant. You don't have to worry about oil stains. You don't have to worry. You're working on your car in the garage. When you have that seal coat on top, nothing's seeping through it. You know what I mean? So you just got to go through with a mop and just clean it up. You know, a fiber cloth type of mop.
Yeah.
So
That's
everything would just sit on top of the epoxy.
Yeah, everything sits on top.
Really?
It's very chemical
Never see
resistant.
it seep through.
Yeah, no.
Really.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of people are doing it in the garages. You know what I mean? Like, you get it. It's a nice, clean look. It's it's very like sustainable as far as cleaning. You know, maintaining. Like maintenance on it is very low.
So is preparation and installation different based on the size of the plot that you're installing epoxy? Say, if I have a 10 by 12 garage and Dan's got a 40 by 25 garage.
No, the process to it is all the same.
Process the same.
So you're gonna grind down the floor. You got to make it. You got to give it something to adhere to. So you're gonna grind down the floor regardless. It's just the epoxies. You're on the clock as soon as you mix those A and B components. So you want to work fast. You know what I mean? So if you got a larger space, you want to have a couple guys that know what they're doing. So then that way you can. One guy could be mixing and the other guy could be spreading and then the other guy could be back rolling. You know what I mean? Because there's a couple step process to it as far as spreading it out and making sure it's even though it's self-leveling. So, you know, you don't want it to be, you know, you want to back roll everything. So then that way there's no, you know, no high, you know, you just want it to all look uniform. So, yeah, the amount of space, if you have, you know, a smaller space than he does, a one-car garage, one person can really do it. You know what I mean? You don't really need a couple people, but when you're talking about, you know, over 1,000 square feet, you want to make sure that you have like one or two guys with you, that just so that way the efficiency gets done in the amount of time that you have to work with this stuff, because it's just
How do you grind the floor?
walk behind grinder.
Oh, like
So
a,
I have a
almost like a buffer style kind of grinder.
yeah. So it's called a Rhino RS 150. It's, you know, nothing too crazy. It's,
Very dusty, or is it a dust collector?
no, I have like a Super Duty vacuum. So like that thing
Attaches
hooks-
to it?
Yeah, attaches right. I even have it for the hand grinder.
I'd be worried about like that dust getting in my house or
Well,
something.
yeah, and obviously breathing in, you know, silica dust is not good. But yeah, the vacuum is super heavy duty. Like it has 2 motors on it. Like if one gives out, like
No shit.
it's like it connects right to it. I did a couple of jobs with it and I didn't even have any dust. I mean, I wear a dust mask obviously just because, but it's just like there was no dust flying around. So
Very cool.
yeah. I mean, just minimal, like what you're grinding underneath the surface of the grinders, underneath the diamond blades. I mean, yeah, you'll get a little bit of dust that spurts out on the side, but nothing crazy.
I'm really interested to see the finished product around the pool.
Yeah, so
Definitely share that with us when you're done.
yeah, I'll definitely send you over a picture. It's yeah, the guy wants to do a flake epoxy. The biggest one is flakes.
Flake outside.
Like around the pool?
Yeah.
I thought he'd want to do some marble shit or something.
Yeah, that's what I
No,
was thinking.
I mean,
I don't think I wanna
the
see it
flake
anymore. No, I'm
is
just
more. The flake is more durable, so it's stronger of a surface for the metallics, like you were asking about a car. Over time, with the metallics, yes, like it can happen where, you know, the surface starts to come up from beneath. You know what I mean? Like the concrete underneath can start after so much driving. But with the paint chips, it's actually a harder surface. It's more durable. So a lot of people go with this in their garages, or like I have a buddy that wants to do a detail shop. Everybody wants to do flakes because the durability to it is actually greater than the metallic side.
Really? Okay. Learned a lot about epoxy today. Jeez. So what's next? What are you going to focus on? Because it sounds like you got a lot of shit going on. I don't even want to touch on that other one that you mentioned before. I mean, but you're going in 9,000 different directions. And like I told you before, best thing to do is focus on one.
So right now, my focus right now is the epoxy. The epoxy is something that I have networked with, I mean, at least a dozen contractors already. You know, I've reached out to a lot of contractors. I even go door-to-door sales with flyers. I go knock on people's doors and just say, hey, do you want to get your...
That's the OG way, man. It's the best way.
I do that. I go around... I made yard signs. I go around at like 1 o'clock in the morning, just stick them places.
So here's what I found out with the yard signs. The best thing to do is on a Friday night because you have all weekend before they pull them up. Because if you put them on during the week, the next day they're pulled.
I know, but
if you do it on a Friday night, they don't come back to work till Monday, so at least you get the traffic of the whole weekend.
Yeah, so...
I think if you focus on the epoxy, it'll be strong. And because I think that the golf simulator anyway is kind of like parties, events, and that kind of stuff, so it's a bonus. If you could set somebody up to take care of that and you own it, operate it, market it, and have a guy to do that, that'll be a bonus.
That's where
and
I'm
then long
at
term,
right
it
now.
can go be bigger. But if you want to master your craft, I would look at the epoxy because I think it's going to be more rewarding. And even though it's in a tight space of what you do and, you know, your margin of people is small, if you could deliver a great product, you're going to be able to get a lot of business.
Yeah.
Barbershops everyone's doing it today. Everyone's doing epoxy floors.
Yeah, like barbershop. I have a buddy that has a barbershop. He wants to do a metallic, crazy looking design, you know, with a marble look. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, there's endless
The hardest part is like
options.
clearing the place out, shutting down for a couple of days. You know?
Yeah, that's what it is for my buddy in his detail shop. He's so busy, he's backed up for 3 weeks, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have to come here off hours." I said, "No problem." You know what I mean? Like, let's do it on a weekend. You're closed on Sundays. Just shut down Friday, Saturday, and we'll get it done. You know what I mean? So it's just that's the greatest part about it is that the turnaround time is pretty quick. You know what I mean? You can do the job in 3 days. Depending on the size, obviously.
Yeah, it's a commitment from the customer.
It is.
So,
Difficult. Well, now you got a plan.
yeah, so I have a plan as far as the epoxy. I'm getting a bunch of people like on board with me. I got people that, as soon as I got the content, I can collaborate with them. A lot of contractors said, "Hey, like we don't offer this." So like, yeah.
Why don't you go do a couple epoxy jobs for free for somebody, like some small shit, and like someone who's got a big following. Hey, listen, if I do this job for you, maybe you just pay for materials.
That's what I've been doing, actually. So I secured a couple of jobs doing that already. So I've told them, hey, just pay for the materials. I'll come and do the job. Leave me a good review. Leave me, just something that I can, gain from it.
I got a garage for you for someone that's got a big following.
And I
Are you
actually...
just in New York City right now?
What?
For the epoxy, you just in New York City?
So yeah, I'm doing New York City, Long Island. Long Island's like kind of the market that I'm trying to tap into because of all the, the nicer areas. People aren't really as far as worried about the money to spend on it. You know what I mean? Like people want to have a nice garage.
Supercars and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more
so,
garages
like,
out there too in New York
Long
City.
Island's like kind of an untapped market
parking.
out there for epoxy flooring. So other than that, Westchester, I mean, I'll go anywhere to do it.
You're young, bro. You're 30. You have your whole life ahead of you. You got good plans, good goals. I mean, now's your time to attack. A lot of people have distractions. A lot of people have girls, kids, and all that kind of stuff, and usually tends to hold them back. You don't have anything holding you back, which is great. So I think that you need to just kind of like make a plan and execute. Know where you want to go. Put down the next 12 months. Here's what I'm going to do, but try and do it in 6. And as long as you stay focused on your path, I truly believe that you can do big things with this.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my plan. So
We believe in you. Well, if anybody is looking for epoxy, apparently you'll go anywhere, so pretty much all of our listeners. But if anyone's looking for epoxy or has an event coming up where they want to rent a golf simulator, how do they find you?
So on Instagram, the handle is Gloss and Grip for the epoxy. And the handle for the golf simulator is the Mobile Golf Club.
Well, we appreciate you being on. And
Thank you, guys.
we want to just continue to watch your success. I truly believe, especially after your first venture, 70 grand, young, still determined to make it work. I know you're going to be super successful. So, guys, if you're not following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, go ahead and do so. We really appreciate it. It helps boost our algorithm.
Please like and listen. Thank you.
See you soon.